Your editor already talks to models, but ad hoc scripts are not a platform. Every team reinvents fragile wrappers that rot when APIs change or keys rotate. Keep the contract explicit so upgrades do not become Archaeology. Model Context Protocol is a thin JSON-RPC layer. A host process spawns your server over stdio, exchanges initialize, then lists tools, resources, and prompts with stable schemas. Treat every method name like a semver. By the end, you will have a runnable local server, a host configuration file, and a repeatable way to call a tool and read structured results without shipping your secrets to a browser. Lock those steps in a repo script. Before MCP, most integrations were copy-pasted curl, bespoke node routes, or half-documented SDKs, which means onboarding a new teammate or model vendor restarts the Archaeology project. MCP replaces that glue with a. MCP gives you explicit capability negotiation. The host advertises protocol version and supported features. Your server replies with its name, and both sides agree before any user data crosses the boundary. That hanch. Think host equals cursor or Claude Desktop, and server equals your node or Python binary. One long-lived stdio pipe. One JSON-RPC message per line. Process exits when the host closes the session. If the binary exits, every request carries JSON-RPC 2.0, an ID for correlating responses, a method such as tools/list, and perms as objects, errors return code, message, and optional structured data for the UI. Return rich error objects S. Stdio keeps local development boring in a good way. No firewall dance, no TLS yet, and the OS handles spawning. You focus on handlers until you truly need remote HTTP or SSE transports. Reserve HTTP for sharing or REM. Tools are callable functions with JSON schema arguments. Resources are readable URIs like files or dashboards, and prompts are reusable templates the host can surface in /menus. Name tools narrowly so models do n. During initialize, the host may declare routes, elicitation, or sampling support. Your server should echo what it implements so the client never assumes a feature that is not actually wired. Misdeclared caps are bugs. Create a clean folder with src index, package type module if you use Node, a single bin entry that prints logs to stare only, and stout reserved exclusively for JSON-RPC traffic. Commit a sample mcp.json beside the. Define each tool with a machine-readable input schema, name, description, and properties with types and required arrays, because the host renders forms and validation from that schema, not from comments. Add examples. Implement tools/call to parse arguments, run bounded work with timeouts, and return structured content blocks plus is error true when the failure is semantic rather than a transport fault. Surface latency and partial O. Resources/list exposes URI and MIME type pairs, and resources/read streams bytes or text. Use them for read-only context like architecture notes the model should cite, but not mutate blindly. Version URIs when content C. Registered prompts package system instructions plus argument slots so teams ship consistent review flows instead of everyone pasting a different mega prompt from Notion. Store prompts in Git and review them like NEO. Never print debug lines to stout. Any stray character corrupts the JSON stream. Log to stare, rotate files, or use structured logging the host can ignore while still letting you tail locally. Add a lint in CI that f. Expose a bin in package.json pointing at your compiled file, run npm link for local iteration, and document the exact command string host will place inside their MCP configuration JSON. Pin node in Python runtimes I. In cursor, drop an mcp.json that names the server, sets command to your binary, passes CWD and args, and keeps env minimal. Prefer referencing a venv interpreter plus script path for Python servers. Use absolute enter. Claude Desktop reads its own JSON config on launch. Add your server block, fully quit the app, reopen, and watch the developer panel to confirm the child process spawned without silent failure. If the panel stays empty, pass API keys through env fields the host injects, not hard-coded defaults, and treat logs as public. Never echo tokens, refresh cookies, or database URLs even when reproducing a bug locally. Prefer short-lived tokens. Before wiring a host, Run your binary under strace or with a tiny harness that feeds initialize then tools/list frames so you know the crash is yours, not the editor's launcher quoting. Capture stare to a rotating phi. Use the official MCP Inspector or equivalent UI to replay listing and calling tools with visible payloads. It catches schema mismatches faster than guessing from a blank chat bubble. Save failing payloads as fixtures. If the host shows EOF immediately, check shebang paths, Windows versus +6 and missing execute bits. If JSON parse fails, you leaked stout noise or double encoded a string. Quote Windows paths carefully in. Scope file system and network access deliberately. A tool that can delete repos should confirm intent in the product layer, not silently RM from inside an opaque server. Document which directories are writable and info. Pin the SDK or starter template version in package.json. Read upstream release notes when protocol version bumps, and add a tiny self-test script that asserts tools/list returns your golden snapshot. Tag releases when. Reach for HTTP or SSE transports when the server must live on another machine or share one endpoint across many hosts. Stdio stays the default for single-user laptops and CI sandboxes. Add auth and rate limits before. Attach correlation IDs to each tool/call, measure latency histograms, and log argument shapes without secrets so you can prove which step regressed after a dependency upgrade. Export red metrics per tool so you can treat tool schemas like public APIs. Every change goes through review, includes fixtures, and documents breaking field renames so downstream prompts do not silently misfire in production. Require 2 approvals for SCH. Run a headless initialize plus tools/list and CI on every pull request, and lint that stout stays silent except JSON so a stray print cannot ship and brick customers overnight. Fill the build on stout pollution even. Publish a one-page runbook with spawn command, health checks, rollback, and who owns rotations. MCP reduces glue, but humans still operate the binary when incidents strike. Link the runbook from README so on-call does. Fork a minimal starter. Implement one read-only tool, register it, connect Cursor or Claude Desktop, and verify the model can call it with arguments you did not hardcode in the prompt. Record a 10-second screen captain. You now have a reproducible local loop. Iterate tools in small commits. Rerun inspector checks. Then graduate toward remote transport only when latency or sharing truly demands it. When you need remote hosting, Migra,